If you woke up as the opposite, what's the first non-Yule thing you would do? Put on a bra, just to anticipate getting to take it off later and see what women are talking about. But how are you putting it on? This is the subject that divides most women. The biggest fight I've ever had with my best friend of over 20 years is on this subject, and she still refuses to race me because she knows I'm right. It is more efficient to be a spinner and will die on Spinner Hill. So are you going to be securing the clasps together across your tummy, then spinning to the back, and then putting your arms through the straps like a good girl? Or are you putting your arms through the straps while unfastened, inexplicably trying to clasp it behind you like a Cirque du Soleil act where you cannot see, and then smearing your pubes into the cups? Ladies, feel free to offer alternatives. Sports bra is a whole different uncomfortable animal, like trying to struggle into a toddler's sweater headfirst, so let's table sport bras for now, and obviously, front clasping bras. Go to work, tits won't pay the bills with this face. My answer was the exact opposite actually. Gonna call in sick. Text actually, so the boss doesn't hear my presumably different voice. I'm gonna need a day to process things before I start explaining anything to coworkers. Non-Yule. In that case, I go back to sleep. Exploring my body would not be immediately Yule. It would be fascinating, then Yule, maybe. Imagine if you woke up with a tail, or wings, or an extra limb. I would just spend a while trying to get the hang of things, poking around and seeing how things feel. Tell my wife, who just came out of the closet, that we can skip the divorce. Wonder how the hell I'm going to tell our kids about this thing. Dude, happened to me a few years ago. This hits so close to home. I hope and pray you can stay friends and things go amicably. That was supposedly our plan. I will tell you, your kids will be all right. Seriously, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, but I highly recommend that you don't sugarcoat anything. Show them that their emotions are okay, and you can even feel free to demonstrate it through your own. But remember, they are not your therapist either. Everyone kept telling me that kids are resilient, and in my head, I wanted to believe but also thought, yeah, sure they are. They truly are, and truly they will be okay. Good luck, and I'll be praying for you, brother. Nothing but positive vibes. I hope that little joke helped brighten your mood about it, if only for a minute. I'm sorry about the divorce. As someone who has been through 2 custody battles, both as the kid being fought over, please do your research on any and all therapists. I went through 6 that I can remember. Because I would see them, they would do their report. One side wouldn't like something that was said in it and would find a loophole to get that report thrown out, and I would be taken back home to a different therapist and would have to do the whole thing over again, only to end up in court a month later having that report thrown out by the other side. And now in my 30 seconds I probably should be talking to a therapist about, but can't cause I don't trust any of them. First, I would pee standing up, then I would lift some heavy stuff to see how much easier it is and how much more I can lift, then I would play about with my todger and balls to see how that feels, which would, no doubt, lead to Yule stuff. I would just be drinking gallons of water and peeing standing up. I would find porta potties and not hover squat. If it's snowing or there's sand around, I'm writing my name. I would start aiming and moving away from the toilet to test my range. I love being a woman. I am very happy with my femininity, but when it comes to peeing, I have immense envy, and my husband is sick and tired of hearing about it. Not wear a shirt in the sun. I bet that feels great, because I'm tired of repeating myself. I am fully aware that as a woman I can go around topless. Y'all didn't give me some newfound revelation. Y'all gotta be right so bad. You missed me in the context of my answer. Sneaky likes her clothes on. Sneaky doesn't like to be naked. So waking up as the opposite of me, I assume male Sneaky wouldn't mind being topless, so that's the first thing I'd do. Me, Sneaky. You holes can do whatever the hell you want. Jesus. Look, don't be putting unreasonable limitations on such a question. I would inspect my boobs for any cancerous lumps. I would check them so much. Breast cancer doesn't just show up as a lump. It can be skin changes, rashes, scaliness on the nipple changing direction, like pulling to one side or turning inward. So check thoroughly. Get to know them so you can identify changes. Even people assigned male at birth should check their chest regularly. My Uncle Wade died from breast cancer around 6 years ago. Admire myself in the mirror for a really long. Wear a whole bunch of outfits, talk a lot because of my masculine voice. Appreciate my flat chest. Oh yeah, can't forget tank tops. If I have a mustache, I am going to keep that for sure. As a guy, I too would admire myself in a mirror. It'll take some getting used to seeing myself in the mirror with flipping out. Better get started on that. Women generally are pretty. I'm not at the best fitness level, but I'm decent. I think I'd be fairly normal-ish, which I would probably think is pretty. It'd be nice to feel good about my appearance for once. With the luck I have, my periods would start at this same time, so I suppose I'd either run around my flat in panic, spreading blood everywhere, or ruin half my t-shirts before I have the courage to go out buying some protections. May also squeeze a boob at some point. I would assume you'd still need to start the process, so in my imaginary world, presumably for that first period, all the guys that switched to girls would be on a similar cycle until things like natural variation and outside life factors caused them to begin to vary. Go shopping. There's no way I'm going to be in these clothes for very long. They really don't do much for my new body. That's pretty much what I'd do that first day. Shopping, trying on new clothes, getting nails done. Depending on how my hair was, I'd get that done. New jewelry. I'd just go have a great day out. Maybe get some Starbucks. And definitely get some makeup so I can look great every day. After that, I really don't know. Just go about life as normal. Just look and dress different. No big deal. And buy a new purse. 'Cause women's pants don't have pockets and I don't want to carry a man wallet. We all have what I call maintenance days, where we run around appointments getting our upkeep done. The appointments themselves aren't as fun as you might think, but the feeling when you look in the mirror at the end of the day is great. You feel fresh, clean, and attractive. Getting your eyebrows threaded hurts like a bee, but clean eyebrows make a huge difference in how you look. It's a day of transformation, from a little crusty looking to fresh and well put together. Happy cry. I'm trans, so this would be a win for me. I was gonna say the opposite. I already wake up as the opposite every day, and I'm numb to it. I'd be doing cartwheels if I woke up with the right body for a change. Then I'd think I'm dreaming and try to snap myself out of it. In fact, I'd probably assume I had died in my sleep and slipped into an alternate timeline and then get sad that my mother in the old timeline is discovering my body. Walk around town, complimenting men all day long. I got you, bro. Given how I'm a rather naive male, that hasn't gone over so well. I typically get the quick dismissal or a look of annoyance like "shat in their coffee." Maybe it depends on where you are, but yeah, being a soft dude can be a lonely existence, but you learn that guys build camaraderie over other things and you learn to build over that. My first answer would be freaking out. After calming down, my second answer would be to go shopping for clothes and probably try makeup. I know I can do this as a guy, but I'm already very comfortable with my current look. But I also really like women's fashion, specifically skirts and dresses. Would also probably get bored of that quickly and either find a way to switch back or just go back to my old clothes and style. I'd probably assume I was having a really vivid dream until reality sets in, and then go to take birth control only to realize I don't need to. Also, I find myself wondering how this would work with inter-individuals. Would those with Klinefelter syndrome switch over to Turner syndrome and vice versa? Would those with ambiguous anatomy stay relatively the same? It's an interesting thought experiment. Suicide. Just as I didn't sign up for life, I didn't sign up for a monthly subscription of heart attacks, misogyny, creeps in my DMs, being walleyed and objectified, and constantly being harassed, belittled, and discriminated against in a sort of modern day in witch hunts. So no thank you. I am out. I'd rather die and take my 50% chance to be reborn a male in my next life than continue this godforsaken life in this, in my opinion, worst evolutionary mishap in all of life. I mean, come on. Some animals reproduce, Ollie. Why aren't we all just like that? Ugh, and that's not even mentioning what most of the male-dominant animal species females have to go through. And albeit most of nature is a form of matriarchy, our side of nature is a patriarchy, and it just asks for women. I know this is deep, but gonna answer honestly. I wouldn't like being a girl 'cause I love all physical aspects of a man, from the way his face is shaped to more prominent facial and body hair to the anatomy itself, and of course his, yeah. If I were a girl, I would be really depressed, and try to transition to a male. The only benefit that I can see from being a girl is getting with straight men, but them inside my girly parts would feel strange to me and I would be turned off. I think about this a lot. I've watched a lot of anime and manga that cover this. I'm not trans or non-binary. I'm a man, and I've never identified as being trans because I'm totally fine with being a man. But I think I'd have fun being a girl. I love women's fashion. So like if it seems permanent and isn't going to change anytime soon, I'd probably go out and find a fancy sundress to spin around in or something. Some people tell me, well, Kibi Deko, you could just cross-dress, but the thing is when it comes to me and fashion, part of it has to do with feeling good in what you wear and confident in it. And I'd just be self-conscious because it wouldn't feel like it fit me very well. I know women go through a lot, and there are a lot of struggles, but I'd be 0% mad if I became one. Other than new wardrobe, I'd have to figure out what the hell is going on with my identifications. Did I turn into a girl but all the other things that prove I exist stay the same? If that's the case, it's going to get really weird and the government is going to think I'm crazy. So I'd solve that, I guess, somehow. Call my sibling and get advice about the female body because I have no clue what to expect. Assess the situation. Try to learn if I just turned female, or am I now in a reality where I was always female? Are there any reports of others changing overnight? Because that makes a huge difference in how the situation needs to be handled. If it's option A, I'm probably gonna have to make excuses for why I can't be seen that day and wait out the day to see if I change back the next. If I'm stuck this way, I'm going to have a lot of awkward conversations with the people in my life. If it's option B, I've got to figure out what female me's life is like. Do I have to worry about screwing up their job by not showing up, or what their relationships might be? And again, have to wait to see if I change back the next day, or be forced to fake amnesia or something to get through the rest of her life. But at least I won't have to change my ID. Option C might be the easiest or hardest to manage depending on the global response, because if lots of people went through it at the same time and we're all stuck that way, at least there might be some infrastructure implemented around a mass change in identities, or a bunch of political, religious jackknobs are going to try to burn us all at the stake. I would load up a thermos of tasty coffee, a few refreshing cold beverages, pack them in a backpack, and spend the entire day hiking in the woods. I would not have to worry about finding a bathroom, because I could just stand up to pee and not worry about squatting or finding a place to hide my shiny. This would, of course, be after I spent about an hour screaming and passing out, because geez, give me a warning, McKay. Get a low-cut top and go to bars to get free drinks. Hell, I'd settle for consistent attention from the bartender. Been in more than place where I've straight up told random women I'd buy their next drink if they just order mine while they're at it. The better the cleavage, the faster the results. I was only turned down once. Even got a second date out of one of them. Downvote all you want, but at 6'2" I shouldn't have to fire a rescue flare just to get a beer. Spent quite a bit of time serving alcohol. Getting distracted by boobs in a moderately crowded bar is a sure sign of a bad bartender. If I have to borrow a pretty face just to get service, then I will, especially if they can get me a discount. I'd want to actually feel the pain, annoyances of being the opposite, like getting kicked in the balls, being blue-balled, having to adjust, what it feels like being in the guy's shoes for a day. It sounds weird, but you hear about guys talking about it, and I just want to know if it's just as bad as being said. Plus, I'd also want to go through a guy's experience for a day to get a better understanding. Like, I think if people were the opposite gender for a day, it'd really put a lot into perspective. I actually have thought about this. Run the away. Pack on backpack the essentials, money and medicine if any, and some clothes that can fit my new body. I wear baggy clothes so it's fine. Go to my most trusted friend's house, prove my identity with something only the two of us knows, and ask for help. My friend and I are already used to weird stuffs happening around us, so more weird is just a normal day. Create an alibi of why I ran away, like a letter or something, or a sudden getaway because I need a break for my own mental stability, so that I wouldn't get reported missing. Go off the grid as my previous gender, deactivate, delete, or just log off SOCMEDs. Do not ever try to do something that would require IDs. You can get fake IDs, I think. I mean, fake ids are easier to get than valid ids, to be honest. For money sources, start a small online business that doesn't need gov permission or identifications, like commissions or simple food selling. I can ask for a capital loan from my friend if I don't have enough capital to start one. Basically, until I either pass away or revert back to my original gender, lay low away from people who knows me. And if you don't have trusted friends to help you, make sure you got enough money, stay in homeless shelters, or somewhere you feel safe enough without needing proof of identity, and live as a new person. Go on a walk without pepper spray. I live in a country with one of the highest rape percentages in the world, and not having to constantly avoid any situations where it could happen would be nice. I've had threats literally by walking out my front gate. I live in an area. I'd also be able to hang out with a group of my guy friends without other girls, without those what-if thoughts. I've been taught since a child that it could happen anywhere with anyone. Every girl I know has been assaulted in some way, and Uber, walking to class, ordering food, and going to bars always require strategies. It'd be nice to be able to go out without getting groped or girls around me getting groped, covering my drinks with my hand and worrying about the gaps in my fingers. I'm tired of the group chats I'm in about news of rapes and assaults where we mass email the uni about rapist students. The university does nothing even with police reports and physical evidence. A girl went missing a few weeks ago. In a university group chat, a guy said she was in my bed being a whore. It was a joke about a girl who could have possibly been dead or worse. She was found days later and dropped out of university without saying anything. We don't know anything else. There was no university announcement about her disappearance or otherwise. 1 in 4 women in my country get raped. 1 in 1 women in my country experience assault in some form. 1 in 1 women are terrified. This country is beautiful and I'm used to it for the most part, but dear God, I am tired of it sometimes. Pinch myself, maybe slap my own face a few times to make sure I'm awake. Get up. Check out my new butt in the mirror. Maybe take a few selfies for proof just in case this reverses when I go to sleep again. Actually go to sleep again to make sure it stays the next time I wake up. Presuming it does, I'd go cut some wood with an axe and make a huge bonfire with which to burn my brass, heels, and makeup. Probably also have a few beers or some whiskey while watching the aforementioned articles burn, then try to pee the fire out. I mean, I work for a university lab, so for sure talk to my boss about how we can get my genes sequenced ASAP. I'm not talking 23andMe either. We're getting to the bottom of this one with whole genome sequencing and bioinformatics. After that, I'm patenting my own damn DNA before some greedy pharma rep gets their grubby little hands on it. Then I'll go home and build a dating profile to see what it's like to get 1 million likes with no intro. Then I'll reject all of them and revel in my newfound sense of social power. I'm expecting it to go to my head. Basically immediately is what I'm saying. I'll miss walking by myself in downtown at 930 to get pizza though. All those mildly intimidating homeless dudes would seem a lot more threatening, I think. Sorry, homeless Joe. If you don't want me to be scared of you, you probably shouldn't be screaming random profanities at the air. Look into a mirror and go, ha, what's what I would have looked like, and possibly have a crisis because being a woman would probably be a scary experience because I knew what it was like being skinny and unattractive as a guy, being buff and less unattractive as a guy, but now I have to go to some degree of some perception now as a female. It would honestly be nerve-wracking. Then learn about tampons, mood changes, periods, dudes staring and trying to befriend you while not being very clear on their intentions, while I do the same to some degree. Even as a dude, I have some traditionally feminine traits, but I've almost always had to have a kind of duality between that and manufacturing some masculine traits because they're actually quite helpful to being a male. But yeah, freak out is my answer. Oh, I can answer this because I've actually had reassignment surgery. To be fair, I had been out for like 6 years, so I didn't wake up with anything other than the downstairs equipment being different, but I think it's a unique story. The first thing I did after I had my vaginoplasty was finally wear some leggings. Oh my God, I got more dopamine points out of doing that than I did when I realized I didn't have that awful thing attached to me anymore. No more pain throughout the day, no more avoiding certain clothes, swimsuits, because I would obviously have a bulge, no more wearing 2 sets of undies every day. It just felt so normal. It was euphoric in its uninterestingness. The next thing I did was try on a bunch of swimsuits, which felt awesome. Then some shorts, again, awesome. And then I went for a run in some nice warm running leggings because it was the middle. I got the surgery. Now that I've been on HERT for 8 years or so and have had surgery, dysphoria isn't a constant thing anymore. Most days I just don't think about it. And what I see in the mirror is very validating. Then why stuff PIV isn't very interesting? It mostly feels like nothing. It doesn't like the inverse of penetrating someone with the old equipment at all. My favorite spot is all the way at the back, and I usually can't reach it that way. Having a partner use their fingers in there feels amazing and gets me there pretty quickly. The outside is significantly less sensitive than before. In general, orgasm is more difficult to achieve. I just do some experimenting, to be honest. Test how much strong I am, how much faster I can run, how much higher I can jump. Maybe see if I can shout louder, then do that thing where men try to scream but no sound comes out. I read men see less colors than women, so I'd probably experiment with that too. Then archive a non-UL erection to see how that feels. Then see how hard it is to make it grow and shrink on command. See if men really sit like that because of their balls or if it's just an excuse. Talk over people. I wanted to say go for a walk alone at night and walk with headphones on, but I googled it and men are apparently 3x more likely to be attacked, so probably be even more nervous being on my own. Shave my head bald so I can see what being bald feels like in the wind. Get paid what I'm worth, then spend it all on cigars and call people brokies. Discover the bro code so I can spill the secrets. Get a cold so I can see if man flu is real. See how much more alcohol it takes to get drunk. Helicopter vasectomy. I've noticed people are a lot meaner and ruder to men, so probably get upset by it. Bottle up my emotions and call other men gay at the slightest glimpse of human emotion. See how far away I can stand from the toilet without missing. See if food tastes different. Think I remember reading men have less taste buds. Sit with my hands down my pants to fit in. Play Xbox with a mech without being harassed or bullied. Infiltrate the lads group chat. Do that thing where guys walk down the street and absolutely refuse to move for anybody for any reasons. Wipe back to front just because. Shout at the TV when watching sports. Go to a bar alone without being hit on. At the bar, drink something disgusting and bitter so as not to be called gay. Pretend to like it, of course. Use one product to wash my whole body. Hang decorations off my beard at Christmas. Laugh obnoxiously loud at things that aren't funny. Fall asleep in 4 seconds. Depends what exactly changes besides my playing reverse peekaboo. Do I wake up an entirely different body? Is the body using the same genetics as my current one? And would I be generally the same level of attractive, at least to myself? If my inverts and nothing else changes, I'd go to the hospital. If I woke up as a whole woman, I'd have an awkward interaction with my parents before proving I am their blood by very easily listing off things I know besides them, and proceeds to so what I do every day: start my computer up, learn some 3D, make some musics, play some games and watch shows, do the laundry, walk the doggos, and as always masturbate before bed. So hospital, or talk with my parents depending.